Hey, volleyball fans, we're continuing on our whirlwind tour of the high school volleyball playoffs here in San Diego County. Let's dive into D3. You know the drill. Let's throw up the bracket. Let's see what we got here. So what are your first impressions of the bracket as we look at what we picked? We actually had the top 5 seeds nailed on the spot. Classical Academy 1, Grossmont 2, Vista 3, Helix 4, and Brawley 5. And then we screwed up the seeds a little bit with Escondido, Adventist Academy, and Mission Hills, but we did have them in our top 8. So what's the first thing that sticks out to you when it comes to the D3 playoffs?
Well, Grossmont's going to get their chance to show everyone how good they are, right? They've been proud of how they've performed this season, as they should be. They've had a great season, but now it's playoff time. Now they're going to go out of the East County. They're going to play a bunch of other teams that are, that they haven't seen before, and it's their chance to show them what they got.
And to me, they're gonna. I don't want to put too much pressure on them, but the team that was the team to beat for them in their league was Santana, and they got the 16 seed. Just to put in perspective about the league that Grossmont was in. But I think you have to give credit to where credit's due when it comes to winning games and having good records, and that's what Grossmont has. So besides that, and looking over the brackets, there's an interesting slate here. There are 6 league champions in this bracket, and 3 of them are all right next to each other when it comes to Brawley, Sarah, and Helix. And the thing that's weird to me, and it sticks out, is a potential Brawley-Calexico matchup out in Imperial County. They really did Calexico and Brawley a favor. It's like, all right, Calexico, if you beat Helix, most likely you'll play Brawley, and you don't have to travel. So that to me was a little bit of a cool thing that I noticed.
Oh yeah, that would be super cool. Those teams keep getting a little bit better every year, and to see those 2 teams match up, the atmosphere out there will be super hype.
So besides the 6 league champions, that's the only thing that caught my eye. You caught the eye of Grossmont getting the 2. So let's dive into it a little bit. We'll get into our Final Fours right now. I got Classical Academy, Helix, Mission Hills, and Grossmont in my Final Four. That's the 1 seed, the 4 seed, the 6 seed, and the 2 seed. So the only upset I have coming in there is Mission Hills over Vista in the quarterfinals. So that's my top 4. What do you got at top 4?
I got Classical versus Helix, and I got Vista versus Grossmont. So I just went the other way with the Mission Hills Vista matchup. Vista's a really good team. They're the 3 seed, and Mission Hills can be a little bit high error at times. So, I went with Vista on that matchup.
So we had the same thing, except for you have Vista over Mission Hill. You have Vista over Mission Hills, and I have Mission Hills over Vista. So that's our top 4. Let's dive into the championship game. I'm going pretty boring here. I got the 1 seed versus the 2 seed. I got Classical Academy taking on the Foothillers here at Cathedral Catholic.
Yeah, I would go with Classical Academy going into the final over Helix. Helix is a very scrappy team, and they put a lot of effort. They play with a lot of fight, but I think Classical's got too many weapons. Hannah Eskis is a stud. They got an awesome libero and Carly Stoltz, and I think they got him.
Classical Academy and Grossmont is my final. Well, I don't remember, who'd you got for Grossmont Vista?
So I would go with Grossmont in that case. Vista's a really strong team too, but I think Grossmont's got enough momentum going into that I think that they could get past Vista.
Okay, so I got Classical Academy and Grossmont. You have Classical Academy and Grossmont. Yep. Okay, that's our final here at Cathedral Catholic. I'm going to go with Classical Academy. I think playing a tougher schedule, like all the other ones we've talked about, is the main factor and the reason why Classical Academy beats Grossmont.
Yeah, and Classical, like I said, has got a bunch of weapons that they can use, and they're really well coached, they're really disciplined, and they just play with a ton of heart, and they've been in this position before. This time I think they're going to get it. That's
our Division 3 outlook of what we think the playoffs is going to be, and explain to us again the state final brackets and how they get seeded, and then tell us whether or not you think the representative from this division can go on a state.
So only the division winner gets a bid to the state tournament. And whoever it is, whether it's Grossmont or Classical, they could win some games, but I'll tell you, some of those LA teams that are smaller just seem to have a beeline in those divisions. With that said, I think that would be the first time Classical ever gone into the state tournament, and the state tournament's it's a whole nother level, right? And getting exposed to that for your first time can be really challenging. So I'm not saying they can't win, but I'm just saying it's going to be a tough road for them.
So it's not guaranteed that they win a couple games, and they're not the favorite out of San Diego County to bring home some state championships. But once you make it in, anything can happen, like you were saying earlier. So that's what we think about Division III. And real quick, as we'll pull up the bracket again, let's show the bracket and the great job Christian Pedersen did with designing little image we got there. So we're looking at this graphic, and what are some games, matchups that could potentially happen that you're looking most forward to? For me, it's a matchup that would definitely be a shocker if it happened, but I think Brawley-Calexico would be a good matchup.
Yeah, and I think that Mission Hills Vista game that we split on, I think that's going to be a great game. And I'm really interested to see how Grossmont does in that semifinal, because they have played they have a lot of wins on their record, but like you said, they haven't played as tough a schedule. So I want to see what happens when they get tested. I think that will probably happen a little later in the bracket. So I'm really interested to see how that works out.
I think it's going to be interesting for every game they have, just because of the league they were in and how they have a great record, but they have I want to say lousy schedule, but not up to par schedule. So for me, every round with Grossmont is going to be a test in my eyes, just simply on that. It's just the same way with San Marcos in the other divisions. So that's how you're going to have to view it when it comes to teams like that. Just gave you D3. For more info on any other divisions, be sure to check out our other podcasts that are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our website. Davis Ransom, I'm Braden Soprenet. We'll see you guys next time.